Do you pay stamp duty when title splitting a block of apartments? We call this an MUFB, a multi-unit freehold block. When we buy any property today in England, we have to pay stamp duty. It's very unfortunate. When title splitting blocks of apartments, we could have to pay multiple stamp duties, which is quite scary. Today, as property investors and developers and landlords, we have to pay stamp duty when we buy a property initially, and then when we buy a property which is a second property, or we buy a property in a company, we have to pay an additional 5% stamp duty on top of home buyers will pay for a single property. So this is very painful for property investors, developers and landlords. When we purchase a property, we have to pay the government stamp duty in place at the time. At the moment, this is in the process of being increased. And in March 2025, the stamp duty limits will kick in at £125,000 purchases upwards versus it being £250,000 purchases upwards in February 2025. Currently, you do not have to pay stamp duty when you sell a property. Although some of you will say we still have to pay either corporation tax if we own it in a company or capital gains tax if we own the property in our private name. Title splitting is a process where we break up multiple properties on one freehold. For example, we buy a block of apartments on one freehold and we split it into multiple properties, multiple titles. The individual properties are often worth a minimum of 25 to 35% more when added together than the whole block, which remember we called an MUFB, and that's on one freehold. Let's say we buy a block of apartments and we refurbish it to the highest value in the market. The traditional landlord would buy, refurbish, and then refinance onto what we call a commercial or a block mortgage. Now, when we buy that property, we pay stamp duty number one when we purchase it. Then, when we go to title split it later, say after the refurbishment, we decide to title split it to get more equity out, what we do is we could end up paying a second stamp duty, and this is the stamp duty upon title split. Now, there are some ways we can avoid these charges, but they have their own implications. So let's not talk about those today. We're now going to talk about how we avoid the charge by title splitting earlier. When we are title splitting a property into individual saleable units, we can make huge savings on stamp duty if we title split the property as we buy it. And that means upon the purchase. For example, if I am buying a block of apartments and I split them into individually saleable apartments when I purchase them, on the day that I purchase them, this means I only pay one lot of stamp duty. We use a special formula at titlesplit.com to enable that type of purchase for our customers. When I do not split these apartments as a landlord upon the day of purchase, and I want to do the title split at a later stage, it is likely that I will incur additional stamp duty costs, solicitors' costs, and other fees. For property investors, this can amount to tens, if not hundreds of thousands of pounds, depending on the size of the title split block deal. Many developers have relied on keeping their blocks or properties all on one title and planning to title split when they sell. In fact, I guess if you have a block, you will have been actively encouraged to do so by various people that you know who say, just title split when you sell. But let me tell you your dilemma as we go on. So why not title split when you sell, you say? Surely that would save me this additional stamp duty. Now, I just want to point something out. If you can get 25 to 35% additional capital and then access to capital growth by splitting as you buy, why on earth would you leave that extra equity in your portfolio until you sell? So, If you do this and you listen to your advisors who tell you to split when you sell, this is what it's going to mean you have to do to title split as you sell. Landlords, listen carefully. You have owned a freehold block for some years. It is mostly fully tenanted, so you have cash flow from the rents from your tenants. And why would you want to lose that cash flow as you are trying to sell? You have a block mortgage with a commercial lender, and you go to the commercial lender and you say, I want to sell my flats one at a time. They are going to say, no, we will not allow you to sell a flat one at a time. You have to pay the mortgage off all in one go. But you know the title split value is 25 to 35% higher if you sell your flats to individual owner buyers. Your lender won't let you sell them one flat at a time. What can you do? You have three choices here. Number one, you can sell this block, get rid of it to another landlord at block value. 99% of blocks that are unsplit get sold to another landlord at block value at this time. You can get 25 to 35% capital uplift on sale by selling each apartment individually. And to do that, you will do the few things next. First, you will need to give notice to all of your tenants so you can sell the flats to individual owner buyers. Clearly, this is going to cost you cash flow even if you do it one flat at a time. You will need to refinance onto a bridging loan for the duration of the sales process. It is likely the bridging company will allow the sale one flat at a time, but they are also likely to charge you an interest rate of around 1% per month, so that's 12% per annum, to do that. Now, if you've cleared your tenants out, this is a costly thing to do, isn't it? Because you're no longer getting that cash flow. And then once you've done that, you can sell the flats on the open market via an estate agent. Now, alternatively, you could come along, learn from titlesplit.com exactly how to split an apartment during ownership, or if you're really savvy, you're going to split it as you buy using our unique title split on purchase process. So come and talk to us. Hope that was helpful. Just make sure you're not paying all the extra stamp duty, and please do not lose 25 to 35% equity uplift. My name's Rachel Knight. Please like and subscribe for more information on title splitting.